Alright, what's up guys? I'm bringing you another replay today, which I know is in poor dimensions, but I want you to be able to see the chat for this battle. I got this instead of a live battle because I wasn't feeling it last night. I really wasn't. I started to play a few battles before I got into recording, got into a really bad mood because I wasn't playing well, and didn't want to record in those circumstances. But then I got this battle afterward when I was playing for fun against a guy by the name of Kyo. You might have heard of him. He's a YouTuber for sure, but he's also just a really good NU player, and he's friends with a couple of other YouTubers, Canadian Wi-Fi, Elmas to show off, 6 Foot Hacks, Leo, whatever you want to call him. And he's a person that I actually watched a lot of when I first got into competitive battling a couple of years ago. So I was very nervous in playing this battle, not just because I was playing against him, but because all his friends were in the chat watching us, and his friends are also really good NU players, so I didn't want to come off as a chump to him or to them, especially with a team that's kind of as cheesy and gimmicky as mine is. But I'll just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about as we get into the battle, so let's do that. Alright, so he's okay. I thought we were going to get some team preview, but we did not. He's going to lead off with his Scyther, and I'm going to lead off with my Virizion. Obviously this is unfavorable. However, Virizion does outspeed Scyther naturally, but I'm kind of anticipating him being Choice Scarfed because Scyther's at a good speed tier where being Choice Scarfed would really benefit it. Of course, it can be Banded, it can be Eviolite with Swords Dance, it can be any of those things. But I'm expecting him to want to beat the Choice Scarf set, so I'm going to actually pull a switch out into my physically defensive Audino, and the fact that he stays in right here and goes for Aerial Ace confirms to me that he is actually Choice Scarf because, like I said, Virizion does naturally outspeed it, and I'm max speed. So I know he's not going to want to risk that and let me fuck him up, even though Virizion does normally carry 2 types of moves that it quad resists, so maybe he was expecting that. But I'm going to lean towards Choice Scarf, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to my Audino. So here I'll get a free knockoff on his sock that comes in. Now, of course, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it gets rid of his choice band, which is very, very helpful to me. And then I'm going to go for the Protect on this turn, right here. As he goes for close combat, he didn't want to overpredict, and I understand that. But now, since I went for the Protect, he doesn't know if I'm a good or bad player, so he's not going to overpredict too much. He's going to go for the knockoff, expecting me to want to go into one of my 3 things that can resist or be immune to his close combat, though. My Claydol, my Dusk Noir, or my Rotom. And I'm actually going to go out into my Virizion instead, because I know that he's going to go for that knockoff, and I'm going to get the +1 off it. However, I don't make the most use of it right here, because I don't want to overpredict myself, even though he has a couple of things that he could switch into it, one being this Scyther, and another being his Xatu, and another even being his Shedinja that he has on his team. If you didn't notice that, he does have a Shedinja, which my team doesn't really deal with all that well. But I put Stone Edge. Don't know what I was gonna say. I put Stone Edge on this Virizion, and I put Power Up Punch on my Dusk Noir. I know that's new. I don't know if I told you about the Stone Edge on the Virizion though. But I did put Stone Edge on here, and I could have gone for it, but I didn't want to risk him deciding to stay in, even though my close combat or my Leaf Blade probably would have messed him up. So I should have predicted him to switch out, but I didn't want to make that kind of play yet. And I wanted to have some sort of sense that I'm not the best player in the world, and I'm just going to go for the Leaf Blade. Now, I don't want to go into Audino here. Just in case he goes for U-turn, I want to keep up the offensive momentum by going into my Choice Scarfer, and I know I can resist both his stabs. But I know that this is setup fodder for Shedinja if I stay in with my Rotom. So as he pulls the double out into his Shedinja, I'm going to pull the double out into my Leopard. And this is great for me because I can go for a knockoff, get rid of his Sash, and that thing's going to die to some other hit, some other dark type move that I have, or a rock type move. But I do forget that he carries X-Scissor, which sucks because I just don't see a lot of Shedinja. Like I said, it stinks that I lost my Leopard, but I guess I didn't really need it a whole lot. I guess it could have been helpful against Xatu, but I do have answers to that anyway. So now that that died, I'm going to go into my Audino because I can go for knockoff, and I'm not going to overpredict here. I'm just going to go for that knockoff. Even though he goes back into his sock, that's fine. I get a little bit more damage off on this, even though it's pretty much irrelevant. And now I know he's not going to mess around with close combats. He's just going to go for another knockoff, and I go back into my Virizion. Here, things get interesting, because, yeah, I could have anticipated the close combat, gone into one of my fighting resists, but those would have taken a lot of damage. And he did not want to take that chance, really, of me going into one of them. So I go back into my Virizion. I just knew the knockoff was coming, and I make a great play right here. I think a very, very great play, because I have the +1, and even though he has his sock in, he switched out last time into his Scyther, so it was either going to be that Xatu or Shedinja that came in. So I just pop it with a Stone Edge. That thing is gone. So his Choice Scarfer is totally out of the picture now, and that's very helpful for me. But now, since I have Stone Edge, I can kill this Shedinja. I don't know why he brought it in. I think he forgot that his sash was broken. But yeah, I'm just going to go for that and kill the Shedinja as well. So that's two things out of the way, thanks to Virizion. Then he brings in Xatu, which is interesting to me. I'm thinking that he might be a little bit physically defensive. I probably could have taken him out, and I really didn't have any reason not to. Here, let me pause this real quick and explain. I didn't really have any reason not to try and take him out, but I kind of wanted to save Virizion for the Rhydon or the Prinplup, and I just go into my AV Dust Noir, which takes that just super duper well, obviously. And now I know he's not going to stay in. He has no reason to. Even if he goes for Psyshock, it's not going to do a lot, and he can't risk me going for Shadow Punch, Sucker Punch, or Shadow Sneak on that thing, because it's kind of a win condition for him. Not exactly his ultimate win condition, but he needs that Xatu right now. So I am just going to go for the Power-Up Punch that I added. And then I'm going to keep going for it against this Prinplup. Just keep going and going and going. Just going to not care about his Toxic or his Stealth Rock, and I do expect him to go for both of those, so I keep going for Power Up Punch. I do have Sucker Punch, but I want to get a lot of power. And now he can go for Scald. I probably could have gone for Sucker Punch right here, but I don't know if it would have killed. So I go for another Power Up Punch, get up to +4 attack, and then now I'm going to go for Sucker Punch because he doesn't have any reason to do anything but go for Scald and try and kill me. That thing's gone. And I'm left at, what, 14%? Yeah. Now, this is also something right here. I've seen Rhydons before, and I know that back in about August, roughly, of last year, I could swear that I've seen this team before. And I know that Kyo's the kind of guy who would run a Double Dance Rhydon, which is Rock Polish plus Swords Dance. So what I'm going to do here is go for the Earthquake, expecting him to want to Rock Polish because he knows that my Sucker Punch won't work at that rate. So, you know, he knows that Sucker Punch is my strongest move for him right now, as far as he knows. And he's just going to go for that Rock Polish. And I'm going to go for the Earthquake, bring him down to 3%, and he's just fast now. That's all he is, but he's really, really weak. So yeah, my Dust Noir goes down, but it does a lot of damage to Rhydon in the process. Now, I know at this point that my Audino can take any hit from Rhydon, any hit at all, and probably knock it out with a knockoff, because it's at 3%. Yeah, Rhydon's really bulky, but I don't think he's completely invested in sort of the defense that would help him live a knockoff right here. So he has a choice to make: either attack me, expect a double, and go for the Swords Dance, or just hope that I can't kill him, or I go for Wish, or something like that. So I don't have any reason at all not to go for the knockoff, and I do, and knock him out, even though he goes for the Swords Dance. He probably shouldn't have done that, in my opinion, but he needed that to try and sweep because he was too far in already. Now I'm just going to leave my Audino in here. I really don't want to mess around with the Sock and deal with his predictions right now. So I'm just going to go for the knockoff. I really don't need Audino anymore because it's just Sock and his Xatu. So I actually take the close combat, go for a Protect for no reason, and then I kind of wanted to scout what he would go for. His friends are trying to convince me to go into Virizion, but I'm not doing that. And now that he's at -1, I'm pretty sure a Shadow Ball can kill this Sock. It might not have. I think it could have been a roll, but I didn't want to, you know, mess around. I figured that was the best move for me to go for, because if I didn't, I still had Virizion that could outspeed, and probably my Claydol that could take a hit. I think I would have gone into Claydol to try and take a hit, and then whatever. It doesn't matter. I took him out with the Shadow Ball. Now he goes into his Xatu, and I'm going to go for Shadow Ball, which actually doesn't kill, but he doesn't kill me with Psy Shock either. So I'm thinking he's not fully offensive. No, he's definitely not, because he's got leftovers. So another Shadow Ball does take him out, and that's the end of the battle. That was a great game against Kyo, so go ahead and check him out. Like I said before, his link is in the description below. He's very smart, very skilled player, and I think I just caught him off guard with a couple of things, including AV Dusknoir and the Stone Edge on my Virizion. So I hope you enjoyed the battle, and I'll catch you guys all later. Peace.